hatred of the whites. Is it because of slavery? And my argument is that it is not. Why is Shakespeare hated? Did he have slaves? Right? That should do it on its own. Every nation had slavery. Are they all hated? Whites are hated for creating America in the West. That's why they want to bring down. They use white hatred as the cover for West hatred. Remember when President Trump gave this magnificent talk in Poland? Magnificent. On behalf of Western civilization. New York Times declared it a white supremacist talk. That's right. It makes perfect sense. They hate the West. The left hates the West. The left hates order. The left hates capitalism. I point out in my column that Hitler hated capitalism as well. Major work. I read the entire book, a new biography of Hitler, by a professor at Cambridge. So that's a good credential for those of you who want credentials. And it's a lot about his hatred of capitalism. Remember, Nazism stands for National Socialism. The inevitable riots that you will have now are based on widespread beliefs that are lies, that are just lies. Thousands of blacks. Watch Ami Horowitz's video in Minneapolis, just up at DennisPrager.com. There's a genocide taking place in America against blacks. It's funny because it's only the left that supports abortion, which takes far more black lives than anything else. I mean, there's no comparison. But anyway, putting that aside, that's the belief. Thanks to the Maxine Waters scum that are prevalent in the Democratic Party, black and white. The woman is rotten. I mean, we have some rotten people in public life. It's not people I differ with. Differ with never meant anything to me. I've never used these terms in my broadcast career. That woman is rotten. She is advocating bloodshed. Okay? President Trump did not advocate bloodshed, but the media said he did. He said, go to the Capitol peacefully. It's not quite the same as we need more confrontation days or hours before the verdict in the trial. Trial established no racism, by the way. So why does this have anything to do with race? It's hard to imagine what verdict there would be where there wouldn't be riots. There are people who riot because they're just pure anger. They're angry for personal reasons, and they have placed their personal anger onto America. That's what the left has done. 80% of black kids don't grow up with a father in their home, and that's a very big reason for anger. Read my friend Jesse Peterson. Jesse Peterson is sort of a modern prophet. One of the many wonderful black voices out there. Less well known than Larry Elder, but truly a prophet. And he speaks about this tremendous anger within black life. He himself is black. They talk about we need to send social workers, right? Social workers. We need to prevent crime. Yes, you know how you prevent crime? How's this? Get married. The overwhelming majority of violent crimes are committed by single men. How's that? Anybody on the left advocating that? Get married. Want another prevention? Get religion. How many murders by blacks of other blacks, which is the overwhelming majority of black murders, take place or are perpetrated by men who are married and who go to church? It's probably close to 0%. Correct? But the left would never advocate that because they loathe middle-class values. Loathe them. And anyway, it takes power from the state. Rely on the state for your solutions. Marriage? Pfft. Religion? Pfft. Go to college, you learn to have contempt for both institutions, marriage and church. That's what's going on. In a nutshell, please forward my column today. It's up at DennisPrager.com or Town Hall. We're living in the world of the lie created by the left. Wall Street Journal has a piece about a Obama physicist. He was in the Obama Energy Department, Stephen Koonin, K-O-O-N-I-N. And this man has just written a book. It's not up yet. It's not out yet. I know. I said he wrote it, but it's not published yet. It will be in May. I already pre-ordered a copy. An interesting experiment will be his and other Democrats' response, that is Barack Obama, to a book by Stephen Koonin, who was chief scientist at the Obama Energy Department. Like that, folks? Good credential? Chief scientist, Obama Energy Department. Mr. Koonin argues not against current climate science, but what the media and politicians and activists say about climate science has drifted so far out of touch with the actual science as to be absurdly, demonstrably false. Wow, how's that? Wall Street Journal accusing the mainstream media of lying about climate. Shockaroo, eh? But people believe it because they want to believe it. It's like they want to believe masks are protective outdoors. I'm not sure they're protective indoors, but outdoors is an idiocy. In 2017, the U.S. government's climate science special report claimed that in the lower 48 states, quote, the number of high-temperature records set in the past 2 decades far exceeds the number of low-temperature records. Now listen. On closer inspection, that's because there's been no increase in the rate of new record highs since 1900. Only a decline in the number of new lows. If you didn't follow that, let me explain that. This is an example of how reporting justifies that 19th century phrase, lies, damned lies, and statistics. Statistics are worse than damn lies because they're so manipulated. The rate of record hot days has not increased since 1900. Just the rate of cold day records has diminished. That's all. Mr. Koonin is a Brooklyn-born math whiz and theoretical physicist. He taught at Caltech for nearly 3 decades, serving as provost in charge of setting the scientific agenda for one of the country's premier scientific institutions. From deeply examining the world's energy system, he became convinced that the real climate crisis was a crisis of political and scientific candor. He went to his boss and said, John, the world isn't going to be able to reduce emissions enough to make much difference. That's Bjorn Lomborg's point. The issue is not whether the world is warming. It's whether changing the world's economy will help.